Hello and welcome to Get a Clue, Dad, a Tweens Mysteries podcast. I'm MJ.
And I'm the dad, Aidan. And in this podcast, we talk about mystery fiction that is aimed at a younger crowd, middle grade readers. In our past few episodes, we've been talking about the Wells and Wong series by Robin Stevens, but today we're starting on something new. Before we get to that, we're going to start out by opening the mailbag. So our first comment was from Words and Peace, who wrote, "Oh wow, this is fabulous. Following you on Spotify and planning to read the book. Kudos to your daughter. So cool to share the same love of reading as you. Tell MJ I admire her and wish her tons of great books to discover."
Thank you.
So I think it's been really nice having the ability to share these stories together, hasn't it?
Though it's been so long since our last episode. 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while since we recorded.
Yeah.
So, next was Donna, who shared, "Very fun. My favourite mysteries when I was her age were the 3 Investigators series. Just throwing it out there because when I was 11, I was devouring about 2 a week. I love those books." And yeah, that is a series I really loved when I was your age, MJ. It was one of my first mystery series. I don't know if we'll get to those anytime soon, but we actually have quite a few different series that we are thinking about exploring, right?
I'm ahead of you by like 10 books.
I know, it's pretty tragic because as a result of us being delayed in recording, you've read ahead of me
Like
in
10 books.
multiple series. So
Yeah.
I've now got a lot of catching up to do. But that brings me to our last piece of feedback for this episode, JJ from The Invisible Event. He called this a delightful undertaking. What a great idea, and what a fabulous realization of it. Well done both. I could highly recommend the Space Case and the FunJungle series by Stuart Gibbs if you see this running for a long time, and P.G. Bell's 2 fairy tale murder mysteries. The Beanstalk Murder and the Big Bad Wolf Murder are excellent too.
I think I remember hearing some of those titles.
Yeah, I think that JJ has hit the nail on the head, because what are we talking about today, MJ?
Belly Up.
And which series is that from?
FunJungle.
Now, this isn't your first Stuart Gibbs book, though, is it?
No, I've read most of the Spy School books.
Those are kind of adventure stories, aren't they?
Yeah.
I know you really enjoyed reading those last year. Let's start out by going over the blurb, and then we'll dig into the book. 12-year-old Theodore Teddy Roosevelt Fitzroy has murder on his hands and trouble on his tail. He doesn't have a real tail. He believes that Henry, the hippopotamus at the brand new FunJungle, has been murdered. The zoo's top brass claim the hippo went belly up the natural way, but Teddy and his feisty friend Summer McCracken have other ideas. Could the culprit be FunJungle's animal-hating head of operations, or is it FunJungle's owner, Summer's dad, a man who is much more concerned about money than animal welfare? The deeper Teddy and Summer dig, the more danger they're in, because when it comes to hippo homicide, the truth can't be caged. Great blurb, right?
Yeah, so great.
So let's start out by you telling us a little bit about FunJungle. What is it?
Well, FunJungle is the ultimate adventure park for you and your small child. Or
Well,
big child.
it's kind of a little bit like
A safari.
a safari, that's right. So it's kind of a place where you can go and see animals from all over the world. And it's super big, it's super expensive. It thinks of itself as not like a zoo, but more like Disneyland, right?
Over $4 billion were spent making this park.
So it's a pretty big deal. And the owner, JJ McCracken, he needs it to be a big success, doesn't he? So before they open FunJungle, to try and, because it takes a long time to open up what is basically a sort of hyper zoo,
Yeah.
he has to try and get people interested in the animals. And what is his great idea?
It's not really his great idea because his daughter came up with the idea of FunJungle in the first place.
That's right.
But if you were to say that, his great idea would probably be the TV show.
There's this FunJungle and Friends TV animated show where there are different characters who are based on the different animals you're supposed to be able to see at the zoo. And who is the breakout star of that TV show?
Henry the Hippo.
Now, this creates a problem because when the zoo opens, or is about to open, do they have a hippopotamus?
No.
No. And JJ McCracken is desperate to get one. So he tries to get them through all different means. And in the end, they do eventually manage to get 2. They get a female hippopotamus, but he needs a Henry. And the only male hippo he can get is a rather cantankerous hippopotamus named Brutus, who they're going to rename. What is Brutus like?
Well, Brutus is definitely problematic. When he used to be at the circus, all the people hated him. He injured like half of the circus.
He has something else he does quite often as well, which is quite gross and meant they had to put up glass walls around the side of the exhibit. Do you remember what that?
Poop.
Yes, he likes to poop at people. So there are lots of problems when it comes to Henry the Hippo. Now, our main character in this book series is someone who lives at FunJungle because his parents both work there. Would you want to live at a zoo?
Yes and no.
Okay, what would be the good bit?
Hang out with the animals, but eventually it get boring.
And for the main character, does he find it boring?
Yes,
Our main character, Teddy, where has he grown up?
the jungle.
So he got to spend time with animals in the wild. And now living in a zoo, he finds things not so great, right? What are some of the things he doesn't like about FunJungle?
The people who visit usually agitate the animals. They knock on the glass like going,
They're doing anything to try and get them to react, right?
and the animals respond in the most gross way, including the monkeys.
So the book begins with him having given, is it stink bombs to the
No, water balloons.
water balloons? That's right. The main character has given water balloons to the monkeys, and they're throwing them at the visitors, right? So Teddy is going to be our main character, our protagonist. What do you think about Teddy as a person? Is he someone that you would like?
Very mean.
You think he's mean? Okay, tell me about why you think he's mean.
I think he's mean to the people who work there.
Can you give me some examples? I can think of some, but I'm interested.
Large Marge.
Right, so there's a security officer whose nickname is Large Marge, and he can be a little fat phobic towards her, right?
Yeah.
He makes some jokes at her expense. I would say that is the bit of the book I like least. What about towards the animals? How is he with them?
He's nice to the animals.
Yeah, I think he likes them more than the people, right?
Yeah, that'd probably be me too.
So our victim in this book is Henry the Hippo, that mascot for FunJungle. What does it look like when he first is found dead?
He's died of natural causes.
And that would be understandable, right? Because he's an older hippo.
Yeah.
But what do they do after he has died?
Well, basically, he suggests that they do a autopsy. When it's basically like a surgery on an animal, they're not trying to help. They're
Okay.
trying to figure out how the animal died.
Right, okay. So they are looking to find out what the natural cause of death is. And when they begin to examine Henry, they find that there's something a little unusual. Basically, inside its intestines, there are lots of tiny little holes, right?
Yes.
So we have a murder method, which is quite clever because it looks like it's natural causes. But of course, for the number of holes that are there, that isn't natural, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean somebody did?
They would have to throw something in with spikes that the animal would swallow, thinking it's food, causing it to die.
Pretty mean, right?
Yeah.
So our main character is observing during the autopsy, and he hears Doc say that the hippo was murdered. And what does he try and do?
He tries to talk to the police.
Now, that makes sense, right? You think that a crime has been done, but do the police take him seriously?
No,
Why won't they take him seriously?
because it's an animal.
Because it's an animal, and because it seems a little far-fetched, right?
Yeah.
So he decides no one's listening to him. He's going to investigate himself. So this is the way that Teddy becomes an investigator. This isn't a character who is desperate to be a detective like Wells and Wong. He's someone who's desperate to find out the truth about an animal, even though he didn't particularly like Henry either, right? So he gets some help in his quest to find out the truth. Who does he get help from?
My favorite character, Summer McCracken. So Summer is the daughter of J.J. McCracken. She is very famous.
So all of the magazines you see, like when you're at the checkout counter, you know how they have famous people on the cover with lots of gossip about them? She's that person in the FunJungle universe, right? Everyone's interested in knowing who she's going out with, where she's shopping, how she's spending money. She's a famous heiress.
Yeah.
So how does Teddy feel about her?
He likes her.
He likes her. I think he more than likes her. He kind of fancies her, right?
If that's what you say.
Okay. So she's kind of our sidekick. How does she contribute?
She gives him the codes, the secrets, what she knows about everyone else, what her father knows.
So she kind of is access, right?
Hmm.
But she doesn't feature very much in this book. She comes in for brief bits and then she has to disappear again.
Yeah.
And it's Teddy who does most of the actual investigating. So before we get into our spoilers, I want you to talk a little bit about how this book is different from the Wells and Wong books.
Well, the first obvious difference is this one is not set in the 1930s. This one is set in present day.
So it's something more like our world.
Yes.
Um, so it does feel a lot more contemporary. What are some other differences, though, about the way this is told?
I think it's less of a detective story,
Okay.
but it's more in some ways.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's a fairly clued mystery? Can you work out the solution?
Oh, yeah.
You can, right? But do you find those clues early in the book or are some of them a little late?
There's a period of the book in the beginning where you have so many clues flooding in. Then you have a pause, and then you got even more.
Yes. So in that middle section, what are you getting instead of the discovery of specific clues?
Animal facts.
So, yes, that's true. There are loads of animal facts. But the other thing that I'm thinking of is there are bits of the story that feel very exciting. And we'll cover what some of those developments are later. But this book kind of reads like a thriller at points. There's a sequence here that actually I was feeling really very tense for our main characters and making sure they were going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that gave it kind of a page-turning thrillery quality. So with all of that said, I think it's time.
Or the spoiler alert! Dun dun dun!
Okay. So, spoiler time. We're going to dig into the story a little bit more and talk about why things turned out the way that they did. So, let's start by talking about how this was done. Do you remember what the killers use in order to kill Henry the Hippo?
So, if you know what this is, I had no idea what this was. I literally had to go and ask Mom what was a jack. It's this little spiky toy with like balls at the end. The murderer whittled them.
Yeah, cut them off so you had just the spikes left, right?
Yeah.
And so he bought them from the gift shop and used them and stuck them in some of Henry's food.
I feel bad for the hippo.
I feel bad for the hippo too.
I mean, it's not its fault that it got brought up so mean.
No. So, why do they want to kill Henry? There are two things going on, right? There's an evil scheme.
Martin has made this kind of scheme. He's trying to cover up stuff that he's messed up.
So, he's the head of operations at FunJungle, which means that he's in charge of making sure it works well as a business. So, he needs the business to be profitable because he has messed up some stuff and he's worried that JJ McCracken's going to find out that he hasn't been managing FunJungle very well.
Yeah.
So he comes up with a scheme to take some gems out of the mines that JJ owns to sell on the black market.
He has them perform surgeries inside the animals, but they're poorly done, causing the animals to die,
Right. So
which he doesn't mind.
he knows that the animals, when they're being imported, aren't checked very well. So it's a way for him to kind of get around customs and get those gems into the country illegally to resell. Now, there's another reason, though, that he wants to kill Henry. What is one of his plans for the theme park?
Well, it's not his plan.
It's kind of
JJ's.
JJ's as well, right?
He wants to put rides in the middle of animal enclosures.
JJ is not necessarily making some good choices here, is he? But he's a little misguided. He thinks like a businessman. He's not thinking about animal welfare. What is the problem if you're going to put boats in the hippopotamus river?
Henry's gonna go, knock, knock, knock.
He's going to attack them, right?
Yeah.
And what would that mean for any tourists who are inside the boat?
Dead.
So, in order to try and make it so that people can ride on the ride, getting rid of Henry kind of accomplishes that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have two different things going on. We have a secret scheme to smuggle gems, and we have a scheme to get rid of Henry. So, that's our evil plot. So, what are some of the things that Martin and his helpers do to try and cover up what they're up to?
He blackmails Doc. So Doc, his daughter, was in a protest or something
Mm-hmm.
that people got arrested for. Martin found out and is blackmailing him not to tell about any of the emeralds that he's been shipping in during the autopsies.
Right. So he's been getting Doc to perform the autopsies at the other end to remove the gems. When he finds out that Teddy is looking into what's going on, what does he do to Teddy?
He doesn't know anything.
Okay, you're right. So Martin doesn't do it himself, does he? He doesn't like to get his hands dirty. He gets his head of security to do it instead, right?
Hello, Buck.
What does Buck decide to do?
Well, he's erratic and he goes, it's like, ooh, what could I do that could put this guy off our trail? Oh, I know. I released a poisonous snake
Right, so
to a kid
he gets a black mamba, which is one of the world's deadliest snakes, and he cuts a hole in the
using his glass knife.
knife, so that the snake will get out, and then he ranges for Teddy to go to right near the enclosure. I have to say, that sequence is one of the most exciting things I've read in a middle grade mystery.
Yeah.
It was very tense.
My hands were shaking as I was turning the page, and I was like, "What's gonna happen? Is the book just gonna end? Like, sorry, they didn't catch the murder in the end. It was Buck. Thank you. Bye."
Well, I knew that he would survive because there's like 10 other books in the series, but at the same time, I was like, how is
Is
this
he
going to
gonna
go
go like
down?
to the hospital and he's just gonna survive it, or
It would have been very dangerous, particularly for a kid being bitten by one. However, he doesn't get bitten. He's going to be okay. But that's not the last scary animal encounter that Teddy's going to have in this book. What else happens to him?
well, there's this big party. Someone invites him. They're gonna go talk to his dad. They're having a conversation. Buck sees it. He releases some tigers.
Right. So he puts a ladder into the tiger enclosure, and tigers can apparently climb ladders. So the tiger gets out and he kind of menaces JJ and Teddy,
And Summer and his mom, and basically they run away, not mom and
leaving
Ted
Teddy there, right?
and his mom,
Teddy and his mom. And who
because they
comes?
thought that he was running after them,
Mm.
and they don't know anything about tigers, so they don't know when you run, it sets them off thinking that you're trying to hurt them.
So even though this tiger was kind of like a playful cub,
Yeah,
it still would have been very dangerous. It could have really hurt people.
yeah,
Fortunately, everyone's going to be okay. But that's kind of the big moment in the story, isn't it? When right before the truth is coming out.
mhm.
So talk to me a little bit about the murder in this book, MJ. Who are they like?
So the murderer is Buck, head of security. So he's horrible. He should get fired.
Did you think he was a good choice as a villain?
Oh yeah, totally. He, I guessed him on my third guess. Did you get him?
I feel like there weren't very many options for who it could be.
Summer, we've got Buck, we've got Large Marge, Martin, and then we also have Charlie.
Right. So
5 suspects.
5 possible suspects by your count, but I think we can rule most of those out. And I think that the problem is Doc, you're never going to think would do it because he loves animals. And his only motive would be to try and shut down FunJungle. Large Marge just isn't enough of a character. We never see her other than her being like a comical foil for Teddy
Mhm.
and causing problems and kind of trying to get him in trouble. Summer is obviously being set up as a sort of romantic interest for Teddy.
Yeah.
And once again, it's hard to imagine how the series would continue if she was the villain. And she's not really there until after the hippo has died. So that leaves us with
Martin
Martin
and
and Buck.
Buck.
Of course, the answer is the two of them are working together. So, in a sense, you have both of them being jointly guilty. I think that with this story being such a thriller in many ways, it's not a problem that we only have one really viable pair of suspects. But it did mean that this wasn't so much of a whodunit for me as a, oh my gosh, how is Teddy going to get through it? And is everything going to be okay kind of story.
Yeah.
So, did you have a favorite moment in the book?
Oh, my favorite moment was when they found out the plans that JJ had. The parents, I mean, they were like, wait, what?
So the plans are that he wants to turn it into that kind of amusement park. That
Yeah.
it will cease to be about caring for the animals. It will be more about treating the animals as an attraction.
Hmm.
And his parents, being animal lovers and conservationists, are not okay with that, are they?
And then they get arrested.
They do.
Teddy, he's hiding underneath her table. If the parents get arrested, and they like kind of like secretly tell him, "Don't worry about us. Tell them what we found."
Right. So at this point, they haven't proved who did the killing. What does he tell Doc?
The plans.
And Doc's response is, I thought you were going to go tell the police. Because it turns out that Doc knew that Teddy was watching the autopsy.
Yeah.
So he goes to Doc. What happens after he sees Doc?
Doc loads him in his truck, gives him like the flash drive, and is like, "Okay, we gotta get out of here." And they kind of go to like JJ's office. They brush up, and they see Buck and Martin and everyone already there. And Summer gives him a phone call right as he's about to go in through the corner, and he's like, "They're waiting for you, just run past. They're not expecting for you to run past. They're expecting for you to just stop."
Mm. So Summer is able to use some of her knowledge to help get Teddy inside to speak to her father.
Yeah.
And when Teddy presents the information, what is JJ upset about?
Martin for doing what he did. And Summer's really mad at her dad.
Why is she mad at her dad?
'Cause she cares about animals too.
Yeah. That's one of the ways that she and Teddy are suited for each other, right?
Yeah.
So how does everything resolve at the end of the story?
In the end of the story, Buck gets arrested, so does Martin. And everything kind of goes back to normal without Buck and Martin. Marge becomes head of security. They hire someone new to replace her.
So is there any other parts of this book that we haven't touched on yet that you would really like to discuss?
The TV show. I had a question. Does the TV show keep on going on with Henry the Hippo, or do they just cut him out?
I think they reference they're going to have to make some changes to the TV show in the future, don't they?
Yeah.
Um, they've given Henry an elaborate funeral. So that whole sequence in which we get the hippo funeral, for me, is one of the highlights of the book. I think it's really quite funny. Not just what happens at the funeral, which is outrageous at one point, but just the sheer idea of it and the things that have to happen to make it happen. I'll leave people to discover that. I think it's some of Stuart Gibbs's funniest writing in this book.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I really enjoyed about the book was the friendship between Summer and Teddy.
There was a little bit of distrust
There's a little distrust. There are points at which he wonders if she's going to betray him, right?
because no one else knew except for Summer that he was going into the office.
And I think they have some fun moments in the story. There's the sequence in
Yeah.
which they go swimming together to try and find the murder weapon, which is kind of gross, but they are swimming with hippo poop.
And I was just like, how's that sanitary?
It's not sanitary. It's not sanitary at all. But
Does he take a shower afterwards?
I'm sure he took a shower afterwards.
Oh, wait, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I really like the ending because in the end, they see a hippo give birth. So,
Well, it's kind of funny as well. We've got JJ, who is forever the kind of salesman who's managed to sell this being this huge event. And our characters get a really good view of it because they're in the restaurant underneath, right?
yeah.
But the people who are all crowded around on top of the viewing platform, we can't see a thing because it all happens underwater. So that's another animal fact, right? Hippos give birth underwater.
Yeah.
So I think our view overall is that we had a good time with this book. I think
Yeah.
it's very exciting in places. If you are a reader who enjoys
Animals.
animals and loves
And it's
learning
not
animal facts
And it's not upset when a hippo dies.
and is not upset when a hippo dies, then I think that you'll get a lot out of this book, particularly if you enjoy like the mixture of humor and action. I think those who are looking for a more clued mystery,
Wasn't is the stuff for you.
yeah, you might get a little bit more out of that. But we're definitely going to continue with this series. We're going to
And maybe a new one in the future.
maybe a new one in the future. But what are we reading next time?
Jolly Foul Play by Robin Stevens.
Well, thank you for joining us.
This has been another edition of Get a Clue Dad, a Tween Mysteries podcast. I'm MJ.
And I'm Aidan. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, or follow, or whatever it's called.
Get a Clue, Dad is a Mysteries Ahoy podcast. Today we were discussing Belly Up by Stuart Gibbs, the first book in the FunJungle mystery series.